In our traditional Christian world, we assume that everyone believes and lives as we do. With single cultural and religious perspectives, we limit the possibilities to embrace diversity, and therefore we impose on others our beliefs, practices, and behaviors, ignoring that today exists a vast world diversity. For example, we all like different type of rhythms and sounds. Some of you love classic music, while others love bluegrass music. Thus, we cannot encapsulate all people and cultures in one space of music. Music and social dancing connect worlds, cultures, ideas, and performance beyond a homogeneous ideology of living and perceiving. Today, I want to share my experience as a senior pastor of a mainline Protestant church in a small town called, they call it Salida, but it's Salida in Spanish. Well, okay, you got it, no? In Colorado. I want to share the story of how we have balanced multiple communities that do not seem to always fit. Social dancing, especially salsa and swing music, can be used to build bridges among resident and non-resident communities. Social dancing breaks barriers of race, class, and even gender, and can connect Latino, Latina immigrants with white communities in ways that we as church would never expect. As the dance gives visible form to the music, social dancing acts as an in-between space, developing an anti-structure that allows to associate multiple communities in a way that challenges the traditional Christian idea of outreach and evangelism. Here I will connect a little with Trevor, Sam, and Nathan's speeches about the telling the story, sharing the story, and in-between space. I grew up in a very traditional Pentecostal family in Colombia. You know that the first thing you receive in many of these churches is a document that lists all the things you cannot do as Christian. It's the first thing. And let me clarify this. If you don't understand my English language, it's because I am speaking in tongues. Okay? I'm sorry. You need an interpreter. You can't dance. You can't drink alcohol. You can't have sex. Honestly, and please do not record this. Do not record this. I think I brought at least 2 of those requirements and obligations being Pentecostal. In the Spanish language, we have 2 words for dancing. In English, you have 1, to dance. But in Spanish, we have bailar and danzar. And Pentecostal consider that the word bailar is a profane word, and danzar is dancing or in the spirit. It means that if you are dancing something like, you know I want you, you know I need you, that's bailar. But if you are speaking arriba, the Messiah, and the name of the Holy Ghost, that's danzar. And I respect that, you know? But those words are different in Latin American context. They dance in the church. Pentecostal dance. And sometimes they use the salsa body movements in the church. You know, they are dancing, or they are dancing merengue. But sometimes they don't perceive. They don't see this embodiment. Ironically, I began learning to dance close to my 40s. I took some classes in Grand Junction, Colorado. My first classes of salsa were in Grand Junction, Colorado, and honestly, those classes were so boring. So boring. Thank you. I started practicing by myself, watching videos on YouTube and going to bars here in Denver to dance horribly. Can I dance with you? Yes. And I used the word ironically because I lived for almost 14 years in the capital of salsa dancing in Colombia, called Cali. For many years, the world champions of salsa dancing have come from Cali, but I never took one class there because I grew up Pentecostal. I recall that when I invited a woman to get out, I had to speak all night long and share many jokes to distract her. She wanted to dance, but I only danced when I heard something like Careless Whisper. You know, you can dance, it's very easy. You careless whisper of a good friend. It's very easy. You just move your, that's very easy. And when I was hearing something like that, would you like to dance? I was ready to dance. In fact, I had to speak a lot because the word salsa in Spanish has two meanings. Salsa means dancing, but also means ketchup. I was expert in ketchup, not dancing. I moved here in 2013 and I was invited in 2015 to serve as senior pastor in an English-speaking white church in Salida, Colorado, where the Latina population is very small. And there are places that play Latin American music. I decided to start some salsa lessons in the basement of the church. I wanted to have fun. That's all I wanted. Then I posted some, signs and posters in some places in the downtown area. To my surprise, that Saturday night, 25 people showed up. 23 were whites. What are you doing here? This is my space. 23 and 3 Latinas. I was in shock. I was expecting more Latina people, Latino population. Then I taught several classes and began taking swing classes to learn to dance like them. It was more easy to dance swing than salsa, because it's 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and back. And then I learned that very easy. But it was good. Friends, I met great people who were key leaders in the community and who I started a friendship. I learned that music and social dancing connect people and build bridges between cultures. This path of connecting through music emerged spontaneously. It was not in my mind. I just wanted to have fun. But it has been a cross-community work in a way that community knows about us as a church. Here you can see, please, the PDF document where we are inviting people. And the advantage is that Allison is a white woman who dances very well salsa. I met her in one bar in Salida, and I saw her. I said, "Hey, would you like to join me to teach salsa?" And that was a great idea. When you dance habitually, you don't care about color, screen, or creed. And in between a space is created through the music and dancing. While dancing, sometimes you speak about your daily life. A lot of people in town have asked me, how is that possible that a pastor teaches salsa dancing and drink beer? I always respond, I am a human being like you. Before being pastor and for being religious, I was a human being. I am a human being. It has been a way to connect with people and talk about issues that we don't want to talk. I have been involved in discussions about politics, immigration, sexual orientation, gender, and among other topics. In fact, we started a ministry about immigration in our church, and most of the people who brought up people to my church were those friends that I met. Why friends? Dancing. And let me say this, they are not part of my church, and I don't care. But they are friends. Okay. I am not pretending to say that this is the final solution or a recipe, because I have also to face machismo. For example, when I'm dancing, or when I'm supporting LGBTQI communities, including my own community rejected me. In one of the workshops, I took a Mexican man and I started dancing with him. And some people were in shock. But it was a way that we can cross borders. There is this in-between space that is created when you are dancing that is like a poetry. People from my church were very positive since they haven't had something similar in the past. Now we started a Hispanic worship services, and once a month we have the salsa dancing. We moved the salsa classes to another location because the concrete in the basement, it was so hard for the needs for elder people. Now we dance in our studio with good floor. Let me conclude saying, music seems to have an odd quality that even passionate activities like gardening or dog racing lack. The simultaneous projecting and dissolving of the self in performance. You are transcending who you are, and you are embodying the other. You are touching. Things that sometimes is very difficult to talk. But your hobbies can be a great opportunity for ministry. In building relationships as friends, now you have the space to talk about things that we don't want to talk. Being a social dancer means you are ready to take care of others. It means being willing to share the magic of who you are and why are you there. But also, you need to move slow because you can step in the foot of the other. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.